But again, we're going to go. I told you guys a long time ago that there's 100 stories I could tell you, but there's 100 that I can't tell you. Well, for me to dip into this fucking book and this one-man show and everything, I've been writing a lot lately, and I thought about something that I've never really repeated. About mid-October, 79, if you know anything about where I lived in North Bergen and Gibbonette Terrace, I had an attic, then I had a second floor, and then I had the first floor, which had the living room, kitchen, and the dining area, and then a backyard. You could go out to the yard. Then if you walk down the steps, you hit a garage. There was a garage that had additional closet space, a bathroom, no shower, just a pisser and a sink, and a wash and a dryer. But then there was another set of stairs that went down another level. And if you opened up that door, there was a refrigerator filled with beer, and there was a fucking bar, like a little 3-seat stool bar. And my mother had the bar stocked. And there was a record player down there. The walls had a couple of holes in them from our karate days when we'd go flying through the air down there. And it was paneling. It was paneled around the cinder block. And then it had a paneling around the hot water thing, the tank. And there was a room in there. This is a fucked up story. And when you went into that room, it was, again, half the size of the office. And let's say the hot water heater is right there. If you went behind the hot water heater, Lee, there was like a latch. I was down there playing around. There was like a latch that you had to like pick up this thing and kind of turn it like a paint can. You know how you pick up a paint can and it has that fucking bow in it? Well, think if you had to turn something like that. And it was kind of sensitive, but you had to turn it real slowly. And if you turned it, it would open up and a piece would come out like something that just your body could fit in, like a manhole.
So it was circular?
It was like circular, and you had to twist it around, and it was covered with a piece of metal.
Damn.
And if you took that up and you circled
Did it go to the sewer?
You went down into the street. You could go into the street. It was fucking scary. I looked in there one time and I heard noises.
Oh, Jesus.
And I closed that motherfucker up and I put the metal down. And that was it. So in that corner was just a hot water heater that used to be my stepfather's tools. And that's it. I don't know what happened October of 79. Something made me go downstairs. And I'm lying to you guys. Maybe August of 79. Something made me... I'm lying again. Maybe July of 79. Something made me... I just had to refresh my memory. Something made me go downstairs. And I went downstairs one time and I opened up the thing. I saw that the door was a little open, like an inch. And I go, why is this fucking... These two... Because it was like two panels that you opened
to the
up
small room.
To the small room. So I went down the stairs, opened up the door, and noticed that the two panels, one of them was open. And when I opened up the panels, I went inside, and there was a coffee bean bag, like a bale, but it was filled with weed.
Oh, shit.
And I took a little top piece off the top, and I went upstairs, and I didn't say nothing to nobody. At that time, I was getting weed from this guy named Joe. He was my main dealer, Joe. I would call Joe, and I would buy an ounce for $75, and sell them for or 50, and sell it for 100, and make $50 off him. And he'd give me a ride uptown. He was a good guy. So I took this weed and I rolled it up and I smoked it with some of my friends. And the weed was tremendous. And the guy's name was Joe. And I gave some to Joe, and he's like, "Where'd you get that weed from? That weed's better than mine." So I go, "I got a whole fucking tank at home."
Jesus.
Filled with this shit. So I went back and just kept taking it. And I come home one day and there's some two guys there with a chick, and they remembered me and they hugged me and shit. And they're talking to my mother, and I hugged them. And we haven't seen each other in a long. I forget what their names are, guys. That I really do. It was a bigger Cuban guy, a skinnier Cuban guy, and then the skinnier Cuban guy's wife. And I had known them. Every time I went to Miami, they were friends with my uncle Rodolfo, my godfather. So I would see them in Miami. Now they're in my living room when I'm talking to them. And they telling me how they're staying up there now. And, I didn't figure it out at the time. So I go downstairs a couple days later. It's a different batch of weed. They had taken the old batch. And I kept going downstairs and taking a little bit and selling it to Joe and selling it to my friends. And I was just making spare money. And one day my mom actually pulled me over. And she goes, "Can I talk to you in private for a second? Have you been snooping around down there?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" And she goes, "Have you been going down there and taking marijuana out of those bales?" And I go, "No." And she goes, "Because the guy called the other day and he wanted to know if I'd taken out like a half ounce. Did you take it out of there?" And I felt heartbroken. I did not want my mother to know I did drugs at any point. So I lied to her. I said, "No." And she goes, "I wonder what the fuck is going on." But at this time, my mother had to know. I had sticky fingers. You know, I had caused a lot of problems at one, and there were just too many suspicious fucking things, you know. Things were disappearing, things were moving, you know. So I said, "You know what? Out of respect for my mom, I'm not going to touch that thing no more." But I got sick. I ended up getting that
Paraquat?
paraquat. I ended up going to the hospital for 28
From the weed that you
13
stole,
days.
or no?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know whose weed it was that I got the paraquat from.
Got
so I laid off the weed for a few weeks. I got out of the fucking hospital. I laid off the weed. I did acid immediately. I was a young kid, but I was a stupid fuck. September 28th, 79. I got out of the hospital. There's a big time fight. I think we checked it before. Muhammad Ali against somebody. I don't fucking know. And a few weeks after that, I go, "Let me go downstairs and see if there's any weed downstairs." And I go downstairs. I open up the little cabinet, and there's 2 barrels. So I open up the one barrel, and sure enough, it's weed. I take a couple little buds, like maybe an eighth, and I figure I'm going to take an eighth from both bales. They'll never know. And when I open up the other bale, it wasn't weed.
Oh.
It was coke. I'd never done coke before. I knew what it did to people. I didn't know exactly. I knew it made people talk a lot, and I knew it made people make weird faces, and I knew it made people make little fucking gestures with their fucking filthy little hands. So I said, "What do I do?" So I said, "You know what? I'm going to take a little bit and put it in a container and put it upstairs and just save it. Just see if somebody wants to buy it or whatever." So that night I took a little bit from it and I put it in aluminum foil. That's what it was in 79. Everybody had an aluminum foil. Knowing what I know now, I probably took a gram, and I probably took 3/10 or 4/10 of a gram and put it in aluminum foil and gave it to a friend of mine and said, "Let me know what you think." He's like, "Wow." Because in those days, to give somebody, just for somebody to give you a joint was big. To somebody give you cocaine, everybody wanted cocaine in those days. And here I had it in my fucking garage.
Interesting how strong it was.
Yes, I gave it to my buddy. I go, "Well, tell me what you think." Fucking the next day, he's like, "Dog, that shit is fucking rocket fuel. You got to get me more." But I knew the value of it, and I didn't want to get my mother in trouble. So I told him I couldn't get it no more. And I took the rest of it and put it in like a jacket, and it stayed there. And I figured I was going to wait for another friend of mine to tell me that he did it, and I would give him the whatever I had left, you know. So come Halloween Day, 1979, the night before we already made a plan, like, ain't nobody going to school tomorrow. We're playing hooky. We're going to cut out a UN. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in."
Because you were trick-or-treating a lot?
Yeah, because I was trick-or-treating. I fucking didn't trick-or-treat at all. And, I think I didn't wear a costume after I was 12, 10.
I can't imagine.
I think after
If you're doing acid, you can't wear costumes.
I didn't wear no fucking costume. I think that that year I went to a Halloween party, and I think that me, Lubes, we were just talking about this at the Stress Factory in New Jersey. Me and Avillo were talking about it. That me, Avillo, and my friend Lubes dressed up like ghosts, and we all took acid, and we all just stared at each other all night. Tremendous. And we did go to a Halloween party, and that was probably the last time I dressed up. It was that year, like a ghost. And I think I dressed up again when I was 2 years later in Colorado, like an abortion. But we ate the Quaaludes, and I passed out, and We never made it out of the house. So I woke up with a hanger around my neck and long underwear. Fucking hilarious. But
to get back to it, so the night before Halloween, 79.
So the night before Halloween, 79, me and my buddies go, fuck it, we're going to play hooky tomorrow. Okay. So that morning when I woke up, I took a shower, I got dressed, and I go, all right, I'm going to go meet my buddies. I had some weed, I had some mescaline. And I go, wait a second. Maybe I should bring this Coke. And I go, I'll bring the Coke with me. I'm not going to do it, but I'll give it to somebody, some chick, whatever. I'll give them some Coke and fucking. So I took the Coke with me. I took the bus up to the high school. We met at Wizards, where we used to meet, a pinball place called Wizards.
Hysterical.
And we were on our way to Albertsons by Hudson County Park to rob booze from Albertsons, because Albertsons had no security. So we just go in there, and each of us would take something and run out and run into Hudson County Park with booze, and then they couldn't chase us.
I like how you're half a kid at a pinball place, and then you're stealing liquor from.
So we're at a pinball place that's next to Hashways, the deli. In those days, it was the pinball place, Hashways, and then a liquor store on the corner. And the kid, Joe Ascione, used to hang out at that liquor store all the time. He was friends with the owner. The guy knew, like, all we had to do was stand in front of the fucking liquor store. He knew we were hellions. And he knew we would smash his fucking windows. So he wasn't going to not. If we got somebody to go into him, he would sell us the booze.
Oh, okay.
So we're walking past. We're at Wizards. And we go, fuck it. We're not going to, we can't find anybody at 10 to buy us booze. So we go, let's go to Hudson County Park. Why are we paying for booze? Let's just rob the fucking Albertsons and run into the park and get hammered. And we'll smoke these. We bought like a $25 bag of weed, and we rolled it up the night before, like 32 joints. And, we'd start at 10, and we'd go till 3 in the afternoon. Like, oh my God. So we're walking up to Hudson County Park, and also we hear, like, brakes.
Yeah.
And we turn around, and 50 yards from us is a beer truck. Across the street from that liquor store.
You don't have to go to Albertsons anymore.
Sometimes he would park in front of the liquor store. For some reason, he parked in front of the bank across the street from the liquor store. And we looked at him. It was one single guy. He's walking across the street, like, whistling, like it's a beautiful day to be alive. We fucking dash across the street. And not on the side that's to him.
Yeah, the back
but
side.
The other side. Yeah. We go on the other side, slide open a fucking door, and we each take a case of something. Heineken, Michelob, whatever. Oh my God. And we fucking start running down the fucking hill. And the guy's like, hey, come back. And we start throwing cases. And, like out of 4 or 5 of us, I think we lost 3 cases. The guy's chasing us down the fucking hill. And we ran down to like a street called Tunnelly. And then my buddy said, the one that got into the trouble 3 weeks ago, a month ago, said to me, my mother's getting her hair done today. It's a certain day. Let's go to my house. So we went back to his house. We put the beers in the refrigerator. We took the other beers and put them in a bucket with ice. And we smoked pot in his yard for a little while. We got nice and weeded up. It was like maybe 6 of us at this point. 2 other guys came over. And I'll never forget, we had a case of quartz. And one of the guys robbed a bottle of vodka from his mother's house. And everybody was Italian in that neighborhood. So everybody had Zambuca. So my buddy, whose house it was, that I did all the acid with, like that day, we're in the basement listening to music, getting high. But the other 4 guys didn't know that him and I were on acid.
Oh, you were also on acid that day?
We were on acid. We were drinking and we're smoking dope. It's 11 in the morning. And we're getting high. We're listening to Led Zeppelin. We were young. Ted Nugent. This is way before Pink Floyd, The Wall. This is like Aerosmith days, Ted Nugent. And we're sitting there. And the next thing you know, he says to me that he's going to go upstairs and make vodka and Zambuca, like peppermint schnapps. We also had peppermint schnapps.
Oh, shit.
So we were going to make vodka and sambuca, and there's a name for that, like a frozen something. I don't know. I'm not up to all the fucking bartender names and shit like this. So he goes, let's go upstairs and let's shave ice and let's make these Zambuca or these peppermint schnapps vodka drinks. So I said, okay. So they're all downstairs. I don't know how many kids are exactly there, but me and him go upstairs alone. This kid, like I said, at the time he was an honor student, but he was crazy like me. He was into, hallucinogenics, and it was just me and him. It was our little secret. And the real reason why I helped him out, and I always help him out, is because of this. I've never told nobody this. While we were in that kitchen, I looked at him, and I go, hey, I got to show you something. And I went in my pocket, and I took out the aluminum foil. And he goes, what is that? And I go, it's cocaine. And he goes, where'd you get it? And I never lied to him. I go, I got it from downstairs in my mother's basement. I go, but I gave some to such and such. And he told me it's rocket fuel. What do you think? Now, in my heart, I didn't really want to do it. But if he called my bluff, I would have been stuck. So he goes, fuck it. Let's do it. So I opened up the aluminum foil. I emptied out what was on that thing. We cut it up into 4 lines. We each did a line. We looked at each other for like 4 or 5 minutes. Then we did another line, a piece. And then whatever was left, we sprinkled on the drinks. And we drank that. And we never told nobody. Nothing. But the reason why that kid didn't grow up to his potential was because I gave him that line of coke that day. And I could never forget that. And I can never forgive myself for that. And when that thought came to me Thursday night, because this came to me Thursday, like I went to the stress factory last week. The situation with the cops was handled by Friday, and he had gotten the check by Monday. I spoke to him on Tuesday. For 2 days, whatever went down had eaten away at me. But Thursday, after the fucking trick-or-treating and the walking and the Halloween parade, that night, when I got home that night, I looked at my wife. I go, can I tell you something? Do you really want me to tell you why I bailed this kid out? I've never told anybody this. I go, because I was the first person to ever give that kid cocaine. Me and him did cocaine together, Halloween 1979. If I wouldn't have given him that coke, his life would have been completely different. Maybe my life would have been completely different. Because I would have never done it. I don't know if I would have done it. I don't know.